everyone. Welcome back to another Ableton tutorial. Lovely to have you all back here. Shout out the Patreon crew. The support over there makes a big difference. Shout out everyone who's getting involved on YouTube. Also makes a difference. Please get involved in the comments. Tell me what sort of things you'd like me to dive into more. Anything, any tips, suggestions you have for me. I'm always learning, and it's always lovely to hear your ideas and see how I can explore them as well. So today, you can hear what's going on in the background. Today, I wanted to explore a sort of Steve Reich inspired phrase wave generator. You can hear what it's doing. Steve Reich, if you've not heard of Steve Reich, American composer, one of the founders of minimalism, and his work often really involved exploring phase relationships between notes. Things remain kind of static, but they move in relationship to each other. So that's what I'm going to, a little bit about that concept, and then we're going to unpack it and turn it into this sort of generative wave machine that you can hear happening in the background. So I'm going to stop everything that we've got going. Stop. Thanks for coming. And in fact, we're going to delete that, and we're going to start it. We're going to start again from scratch. It's what we usually do, right? So first thing I'm going to do is bring in just an operator, and that's what we're going to use to explore the concept and then to begin to develop the idea behind the sound. So what am I doing? Instruments, operator, please. Operator. Yeah, we just want an operator. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have my push linked up today, so we can use that to explore what's going on, and you can see what I'm pressing and what's happening and what's being generated. So very, very quickly, let's explore this idea of phases. So the idea is that perhaps you have one melodic phrase that's 4 notes long, one that's 3 notes long, and one that's 2 notes long, and they happen all on top of each other, which means that the relationship between the notes is constantly changing. So for instance, we might have something, and we're going to do this all on 16th notes. So let's make a 4-note phrase to begin with. So we'll do something like that. Let's just duplicate that. And in fact, let's make this 2 bars long. And then we'll duplicate all of that. Underneath that, we're going to make another phrase that's 3 notes long. We're going to use the same subdivisions. So this is not polyrhythms. This is, phase relationships, polymeters we're sort of heading towards. But so we're just going to go like this. And we're going to duplicate that. So what you can see is now when the first note of the second sequence hits, which is this, the first note of the first note sequence hits, which is this G, the note underneath it is going to change every time. So the first time it's where's it gone? First time it's on top of a C, second time it's on top of a D, third time it's on top of an E, and then that cycles through. And now underneath we're going to just do a 2-note phrase, and again let's duplicate that all the way through. So what we're going to get is these rhythms constantly changing against each other. It might be a bit loud. I'm going to just bring this down a bit, and let's hear how that sounds. So you hear these undulating rhythms. Let's fold this, So that we have one rhythm that's going for cycling through every 4 16th notes, one that's cycling through every 3 16th notes, and one that's cycling through every 2 16th notes. That sort of idea is what Steve Reich unpacked a lot in his music, but let's get Ableton to do the work. I like making Ableton do all the work for us. So we're going to see how we can make Ableton generate these phrases for us. So we don't need that MIDI anymore. We're going to do this using a whole bunch of MIDI effects instead. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a note echo. Ableton's MIDI note echo. Where's it gone? Note echo. Functions exactly the same as a regular delay, except it delays the MIDI signal, not the actual audio signal. So if I just press my press note here, and we have the subdivisions. We have feedback and we have delay, much like a regular delay. This button here regulates the velocity of the outgoing note echo, which we can also use to do some cool stuff later on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of randomize the echoes that this note echo is creating. But I always want this phrase to come back and you include the original note that I play, so I have a little bit of control over that. So I'm going to group the note echo, and I'm going to turn off the input. I'm going to mute the input signal. So now the note echo is not allowing the input MIDI signal to come through. It's only allowing the echoes to come through. I'm going to right click and create chain so we have the original signal. And I'm going to label that. Now, I think you can see where we're heading. We're going to use some random in here. So now if I bring in a random, what we're going to get when I press a note is the MIDI signal is going to come in. It's going to go through the original note, Mr. G. It's going to go through the original note and then come out and go straight into the operator. It's also that same MIDI note is going to come in here into the note echo. And the note echo is going to, let's bring in an expression control and connect a randomness to the delay time. So the same MIDI note, we're going to get it coming straight through here into operator. It's going to come to this expression control, which is going to randomize this note echo. And then it's also going to randomize the notes here. Let's turn the chants up, maybe not so many choices. And let's see how that sounds. Okay, so maybe we need a bit less feedback. And maybe I don't ever want this to go up to sort of these 8th and 16th subdivisions. So I'm going to constrain the range a little bit so that we're sort of sticking around this top line here. Okay, so now we're getting, each time I send in a note, we're getting the original note, we're getting a phrase, whether it's subdivided into 2/16ths, 3/16ths, 4/16ths, 5/16ths, etc. It's locked to the grid, locked to the grid. It's locked to the grid. I don't know what else I was trying to say there. It sounds a bit weird and random. So of course, let's bring a scale in, and we're just going to drop you in here, and we're just going to choose a C major scale to begin with. So now this is quantizing everything, including the original note and what's happening with all of these delays. So now we have. Lovely. Now I'm going to duplicate that. So then we're suddenly going to get two phrases playing against each other, because each time this expression control is being hit, it's changing the delay time here, and we're getting a random sequence of notes, but we're going to duplicate that. So again, it's going to hit this expression control. It's going to hit this note echo, which is going to have a different randomized delay time and a different randomized sequence of notes. So let's try that. So now we hear these lovely patterns phasing against each other, right? So, but they're fading out quite quickly and they're not giving us time to appreciate them. So let's bring another note echo in and let's put that in here. So, and this we're going to leave on a fixed grid because we want this kind of pulsing sound. Again, if you wanted a bit more randomness, you could attach an expression control and a randomness to here so that it randomizes the delay time each time. I think for today, let's keep it locked to this quarter note. So now this note echo is going to be repeating all of the MIDI notes that's coming in. So it's going to be repeating the original note, and it's going to be repeating the notes that are coming out of this sequence, and it's going to be repeating the notes that are coming out of this sequence. Let's have a listen. Lovely. So now we're getting these constant sort of fluctuating things, but they sort of then become these pulses, these sort of tonal pulses. Now, from my sketch that you heard at the beginning, I was also sort of bringing in this wave idea where these pulses were sort of going up and then coming back down. How is that happening? Let's take a look. We're going to use a pitch control. And this pitch control, we're going to put that no, because we don't want the original note doing that. We just want these two delayed versions of the note doing that. So we're going to bring in a pitch control for both of those, a separate one. Let's label these. Okay, and now we're going to control this pitch control using an LFO. So weirdly, I don't know why Ableton doesn't let me put an LFO here. It makes it go after an audio device. Ableton gurus, any idea why? Because it's not an audio plugin. It's a modulation plugin. It's a bit annoying that it has to come right at the end because it. Yeah. Anyway. Enough of my whinging. Enough. Right. So we're going to connect this wave to the pitch control. So if I just hit map, and now we see this going very up and down very, very quickly, and that's going to sound quite weird. It's just randomly hitting notes, of course. So we want to constrain this a bit, make it a bit more musical. So first of all, I'm going to turn the rate of this wave up and down. So this LFO is determining how quick those notes are going to sort of hit the low notes, and then this is coming up, and then these are all the high notes. So maybe even a little bit slower than that. I want quite a slow wave. And I'm going to change the amount of modulation, and I'm going to make it just unipolar, so it can only go in one direction, so it's not going to go below. And I'm going to constrain the range to be about 10, I think. So that now is controlling that pitch. Let's connect that with the other pitch as well. Minimize U so we can get there. Open up this, map U to the pitch, change those settings again. Now let's have a listen. Really nice. So you see that as this wave goes up and down, so this one is catching the notes after these waves have happened. So then the waves kind of hit this point and stay there until another note is. Oh, that was a bit out of time. Sorry. Okay, now let's do a little bit of work on the sound design on this operator. I think maybe this is going to be nice if we use. I'm not going to do so much sound design work, but I think let's just make it a little bit. I think a saw wave will be nice, especially if we bring the cutoff down. And I'm going to add a little bit of LFOing. Maybe something like this. Don't want too much. That was a super static pulse. This is quite nice, actually. I'm kind of enjoying this. Let's maybe, let's add a little bit of reverb to that. Bring the dry wet down a little bit. Okay, so now we, again, quite a kind of a static pulse. Now let's push this idea. Let's see how we can get. So now we have this whole rack here. Including the reverb, not including the LFO. I want to leave that out. So I'm going to group all of that. And we're going to call this, operator. Operator is a good name for that. So this is one of my pulsing sounds. I'm going to want a main sound for this. And I think something like, if I go to something, there's like this toy xylophone thing that I found that was quite nice. Toy xylophone. There we go. Let's bring you in and let's just do a little bit of the sound. Yeah, this is going to be quite nice. Yeah, lovely. Now, hey. Okay, calm down. Yeah, maybe this sound can come down a little bit. Let's rename this to main. And I'm going to add another layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate this operator situation. So now we're going to have four phrases that are all being generated and pulsing against each other. And I'm going to get rid of the operator. I'm going to replace it with a simpler. Let's bring a simpler in here. And I have here something I prepared earlier, just because I thought it's going to sound nice. It's just a piano note, maybe a bit of sort of Cage-inspired prepared piano, something ringing on top of it there. Of course, that's already tuned to a C. So now we're going to get a whole bunch of... This can come up a bit, maybe. And what's going to happen if we pan these left and right? It's really nice, really nice. Maybe these things can come down a little bit. Let's see how that sounds in context with this drum. This is just a stock Ableton kit and a stock Ableton loop. Let's have a listen. I'm just randomly pressing buttons here, just randomly pressing buttons. Lovely. Okay, so now what might be a nice idea is to create a... Yeah. So now what might be a nice idea is to create a couple of things that are going to be nice to be able to control without having to dive right into all of those MIDI operations and instrument racks and stuff. Did I need to connect this? Yes. I need to connect this LFO with the waves of the second sound, which is, this one. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to connect you to there. Same constraints, delay 2. I'm going to map you to there. Same constraints. So now that second sound, the piano with the overtones thing, is also going to do those waves. Okay, so one thing, of course, that is going to be very helpful to be able to control without having to dive all the way in is tuning. So we're going to go to all of our instances of tuner. We have one here, and we have one in the same place. Wait, what did I... come on. And we have one in the same place over here. So we're going to open these up. We're going to... Where does the map happen for that? Is that already all the way over here? Map. Nice. Okay, so we're going to map the transpose to here, and we're going to actually map the scale on off to here. We can do the same with you. We're going to map transpose to here. We can map the scale on off to here. And I'm actually going to add a scale in front of the main sound as well, so that I can just bosh away. Bosh away truly at random. And then if I want it to be in key, it's going to... pitch. What am I doing? Scale, please. Scale. And we're going to set that also to C major, and we're going to map those same things to here. Map. And yeah, let's... and transpose from C, so we know what's going on. Another thing that's going to be quite nice to be able to control is how much of these pulsing echoes is happening. So let's map the feedback for that to here, and the same echo, pulsing echo, there it is. Feedback of that to here. And you know what, actually, can I map this? Can I map that? Yeah, I can map you to you. So yeah, being able to control the pulsing delay time might also be something that you want to be able to access quite easily. Other things, you're adults, you can make up your own mind. Sounds of some of these things, levels of the pulses in the background. We can do all sorts of funky things with the sound design inside operator and inside this thing, of course. But yeah, there we go. Steve Reich inspired generative pulsing rhythms. Is that what we're calling this? Is that what we've got? If you have a better name, hit me in the comments. Thanks for being here. Enjoy exploring pulses.